When I was on a live reality show, they asked if I had a girlfriend. I said, I used to date someone. The host pressed on, so what's up with you two now? I replied with a bit of sadness, she's gone. 10 minutes later, my sister bursts into the live chat. Why don't I know that I'm dead? My mom is a big shot, my dad's an award-winning actor, and my sister's a top influencer. But still, none of them could make me famous. After messing around in the entertainment industry for 3 years, I decided to quit and plan to take over mom's business, becoming the next heir. But unexpectedly, they made me fill in for someone on a live show before I left. Since I'm leaving the industry, I didn't bother with my previous public persona. I got off the RV wearing sunglasses with my hands in my pockets, playing it cool. What I didn't expect was to run into my nemesis, Tim. We debuted together with the same image and even competed for the lead role, so he's always tried to outdo me, causing frequent fan wars. Over time, I started avoiding him, but here we were, facing each other again. While I was playing it cool, Tim was warmly greeting the live audience. I just gave a faint nod to the camera and got ready to sit down. Before sitting, I noticed comments asking Tim about his rumored relationship with Princess Laura. I paused. Laura? My ex-girlfriend who's into making slow-cooked soups? Who yells heat at the barbecue and chase after me with bitter, unsweetened herbal tea? She ended up with my arch-enemy after breaking up with me? Tim didn't answer directly, but hinted enough to confirm the rumors. This caught me off guard. I thought to myself, wow, he must really be into it if he can handle that tea. I broke up with Laura because the tea was just too bitter. I didn't want to drink it for the rest of my life. Yikes, Felix looks really jealous. Look at that face. Haha. Envious of our Tim, aren't you? Handsome, fit, and has a rich girlfriend. Ah, so Tim is dating the princess. Come on, you guys. Felix's fans need not get involved in this, thanks. The chat was a mess, but the show started. It's called Bro Chat with a different theme each episode. Aside from Tim and myself, guests included actor Ken, influencer Lucy, and the host, John. This episode's theme was balancing work and love in showbiz. After sitting down, host John kicked off by asking Tim about the rumors with Laura. Tim paused and then smiled warmly, saying, don't focus too much on that. For now, I want to focus on my career, and she respects that. His fake sweet tone gave me goosebumps, and I rubbed my arms unconsciously. My reaction stirred more chaos in the chat. Wow, my favorite ship is real. What's Felix doing? Quit pretending. Pretending? Can't even rub off goosebumps now? I bet Felix is just bitter because he can't have it. Tim, clearly devoted to his career, we love you. Tim's ambiguous response confirmed the rumor. John, seeing potential content, kept asking more. So who cooks? John asked. Tim laughed, rubbing his forehead. No home-cooked meals for us. She won't cook and won't let me either, so we usually eat at 5-star hotels. Hearing that, a question popped into my head. Laura doesn't cook? I thought of her kitchen full of cookware, and the soups and herbal teas I'd tasted. I blurted out, you tried her homemade tea? She can't torment just me. Can she? Herbal tea? Never heard of it, Tim said, confused. Then he mockingly added, we never drink that stuff. Who drinks herbal tea in winter? This made me more upset. Laura really did single me out, didn't she? I remembered that winter she came to see me on New Year's Eve, shyly handing me a thermos, saying, hot pot's too heated. Remember to drink the tea. Yes. She came on New Year's just to give me tea. Annoyed, I stopped talking. My resting expression seemed aloof, causing more chaos in the chat. Did Felix have something with Laura? Are you nuts? No way Laura knows Felix, let alone anything with him. Yeah, right, Felix isn't even in the same league. Is he trying to mooch off Laura too? Disgusting. Why is this attention seeker on the same show as Tim anyway? Maybe he's some rich woman's kept plaything? He's always had good gigs but never made it big. I mean, honestly, who drinks herbal tea in winter? We do, regardless of the season, when there's internal heat. While John and Tim chatted for half an hour, Tim subtly showed off his relationship, hinting they were going strong. After a while, needing to manage time, the producer signaled John to turn the conversation to me. Hey Felix, you've ever been in love? John still wasn't over his chat with Tim and seemed kinda disinterested in our conversation. Had one, I casually said while looking at my phone. Somehow Laura's going nuts, desperately trying to add me. When we broke up, I blocked her everywhere, but now she's trying over and over, and I keep rejecting her. Yet she doesn't give up. John, with the biggest gossip face, asked, "So what's up with you guys now?" I hit reject again, looked up with a smirk, and said, "She's gone." John was about to comfort me when suddenly our live chat blew up. "Laura, since when am I dead? Laura, since when am I dead? Laura, since when am I dead?" Laura couldn't get enough and added, "Felix, add me back." She kept spamming, insisting I add her as a friend. Seeing this, I shook my head, laughed coldly, and gave an international friendly gesture. Am I tripping? Is that Laura? No way, Laura's Tim's girl, right? Why's she all over Felix now? I know. Felix must have hit on Laura. Yeah, I saw it. Felix slipped her his contact. But she turned him down and went home with Tim. The more ridiculous the chat got, Laura just threw a "just you wait" and showered our page with gifts. Tim, after seeing Laura's message, looked totally uneasy. John, noticing, asked him curiously, "Tim, is this Laura your Laura?" Tim hesitated, but then said firmly, "No way. My Laura's way too busy to watch streams. Probably just some Felix superfan pretending." He looked at me, almost like blaming me for everything. True that, lots of people pretending to be someone else these days. John, convinced, switched topics to Lucy. The show went on and Tim looked better, but soon not so much. Because the gifts kept coming. Who else could afford this but our Princess Laura? Just as John was about to question Tim, we heard the helicopter roar in the sky. Everyone looked. The helicopter landed on the nearby lawn, and Laura hopped out cool as ever. Everyone except Tim and me seemed super excited. The chat exploded. "Laura's chasing love live. My ship has sailed. So sweet." Tim said she was busy, but she made a grand entrance for him. A helicopter. Where's the marriage bureau when you need one? Felix's fans, y'all quiet now? Ha ha ha. Face slap. Like, hello? Anyone notice the chat? Laura's here for Felix. Not Tim. I'm not even bothering to argue. You're gonna enjoy this. Seeing the chaos in the chat, Tim went paler. John, seeing Laura, excitedly turned to Tim. "Tim, your girlfriend's here." Tim couldn't muster a smile anymore. Gone was his pride from earlier. Now he looked a bit panicked. John, not noticing, greeted Laura warmly, looked at silent Tim, and shipper-faced asked Laura, "Are you here for your boyfriend?" Without denying, Laura glanced at me and bluntly said, "I'm here for him." The chat exploded. WTH, what's happening? Laura's here for Felix. Was Laura really Felix's ex? Did y'all see Tim's face since Laura appeared? It's bad. Poor Tim. Must be heartbroken looking so pale. It's Felix's fault. Why'd you date Laura? Felix. Go to hell. Calm down. Laura will definitely side with Tim. She's just here to diss Felix. Y'all crazy. Laura ain't even looked at Tim since landing. She's all about Felix. Stop dreaming. Laura stepped in front of me, pulled out a familiar thermos, and warmly said, 5-flower tea, you drank too much bubble tea, too much heat. She ended those words in Cantonese. I noticed the familiar thermos, flashing back to New Year's Eve, then looking at my empty bubble tea. I smirked, didn't take it, instead looked at Tim, smirking coldly. Your boyfriend's right there. Evil woman. Still won't leave me even after breaking up. Tim's face went completely white at that. Laura, seeing I didn't take the thermos, shoved it into my hands, held my face, pecked my forehead, and playfully said, "Don't be silly, you're the only one I ever dated." The chat exploded again. OMG. Laura just kissed Felix. So bold. I totally agree. I love straightforward love like this. Wait, did I just hear that right? Laura and Felix dated? Nope, you heard right. Laura not only dated Felix, but he's the only one she ever dated. Wow, what a player. So what does that make our Tim? Just makes Felix unlucky for meeting such a self-absorbed person. Haha. Laura kissed Felix. Yup, she kissed Felix. The comments are blowing up with fans pairing Laura and me. Naturally, Tim's fans weren't happy about it. What's going on? Are they messing with our Tim? Just because she's a princess, she gets to be so gross? Look at Tim, he looks so pale. Oh my, it breaks my heart. Laura, huh? Ladies, what business is her family in? Let's boycott it. Hey, Laura's family sells houses. She's known as the landlord lady. Don't bother boycotting, you can't afford it anyway. Haha, comments are flying, but Laura just ignores it and sits right beside me on the couch, crossing her long legs. At this point, John caught on. You're here for Felix? So what about Tim? Hearing this, Laura gave Tim a wry smile and spoke into the camera. Let me clear up 3 things. I'm not dead. Felix is the only person I've dated. He dumped me because he doesn't like unsweetened iced tea. But I'm actively trying to get back together. Tim, we've only met once, right? That day, after a meeting, you popped out of nowhere and collapsed into my arms. Pushed you away. You can see it all in this video. Laura took out her phone and showed some surveillance footage. In the video, Laura is calmly talking to someone when Tim slowly approaches, unbuttoning his shirt to expose his chest and abs, and suddenly falls onto her. Without hesitation, Laura pushes him away. Tim, unprepared, falls to the ground after Laura pushes him, his shirt nearly coming off. Then, it shows Tim and his agent being thrown out of the banquet hall by Laura's bodyguards. The crowd went wild. John was speechless, and the other 2 guests gave Tim knowing looks. So, can you explain how I ended up being your girlfriend? Laura systematically refuted Tim. At those words, Tim's eyes immediately reddened. He stood up, looking weak and heartbroken, and turned to me, saying, It's my fault. I shouldn't have said that. Felix, I'm sorry. Tim suddenly apologized to me. I was caught off guard, staring at him, sensing something strange. Then Tim's eyes rolled back, and he passed out right in front of me, falling straight towards us. Startled, I jumped up and dodged, so Tim ended up falling onto Laura. Laura didn't have time to argue with me and pushed Tim away again. Tim ended up sprawled on the couch alone. Whoa, Tim fainted. What's wrong with Laura and Felix? Why aren't they helping Tim? Didn't anyone notice that Tim's apology seemed forced? I don't think he's making this up. He's the one being played. No way, are you guys serious? We've got video evidence. This whole time it's been Tim making stuff up, and you still can't see it? What can video prove? We don't even know when it was taken. What if, after the video, Laura confessed to Tim? Poor Tim, getting bullied by the powerful. This is madness. How can it turn into this upside-down world? Ripping your shirt open in front of a girl, falling onto her, is beyond creepy. Okay? As a neutral bystander, I suggest Laura report it. It's sexual harassment. The comments were completely out of control due to that surveillance video, and the live broadcast was forced to stop because of Tim's unexpected fainting. Here you go. After Tim was carried away by ambulance, I returned the thermos to Laura. Even though she had nothing going on with Tim, I seriously didn't want to drink iced tea ever again. Herbal tea isn't bitter. I swear. Laura opened the thermos lid, trying to persuade me. Just try a sip. I scoffed indifferently. You said the same thing on New Year's Eve. What happened? I took a big, unsuspecting gulp, then cried my eyes out because of the bitterness. In my frustration, I broke up with Laura. But Laura didn't give up and kept making her presence known, bombarding me with work opportunities. Every time I softened, I'd remember the iced tea and firmly turn her down. Seriously, this one's sweet and fragrant. If I'm lying, I'll disappear from your life forever. Laura swore, raising her hand to the sky. Skeptically, I took a sip. Indeed, it was sweet and aromatic. Why give me unsweetened tea when there's such a tasty option? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got, because that's how my mom won over my dad with bitter herbal tea. Laura sheepishly scratched her head. I thought it would work the same way. Wow, your dad sure has unique taste. I ignored Laura and headed to the RV. But Laura followed behind, chattering. So can we get back together then? I'll make herbal tea for you forever. Hearing this, I stopped in my tracks, unable to hold back anymore. No herbal tea and we'll get back together. Her eyes lit up instantly. No more herbal tea. She confidently wrapped an arm around my neck, smiling as she said, "Whatever you say goes." Tim collapsing during the live stream shot up to trending. Explosive. Felix's hidden backers. Hot. Felix bullying Tim? Forced apology publicly. Boiling. Tim suppressed by Felix. The trending topics painted me as the evil one and Tim as the poor victim, bullied and forced to apologize on camera. Looking at them, I was left speechless. What do you mean I forced him to apologize in public? He apologized to me for no reason and then turned around playing the victim. That's some serious tea brewing skills. How can a guy be so good at being shady? When Laura saw the trending topic, she was so mad that she immediately called her secretary to take it down and was even ready to blacklist him. But her secretary hesitated and said, "Boss, removing the trend isn't hard. But Tim is rumored to be the young master of the group. Blacklisting might not be easy." Hearing this, Laura looked confused and turned to me, saying, "Babe, aren't there just you and your sister in your family? Where did this young master come from?" I was just as puzzled while enjoying the feast Laura had cooked. There were fewer posts about Laura and Tim's issue on Weibo, but there seemed to be more about Tim being the group's young master. When did Mom and Dad have a side account? My sister Candy called and asked. How would I know? I can't get in touch with them. I replied helplessly. My mom is on a business trip in the Northwest, so she's hard to reach. My dad, being the lovesick husband that he is, can't go a day without seeing her, decided to tag along. Since they love their couple time, they're often unreachable. Forget it, I'll let the group issue a statement to clear things up. On the other end, I could hear my sis moving papers and signing documents with annoyance. She said, "Laura's still chasing after you, right? Hurry up and bring her home, then have a kid. I'll train them to take over, 'cause I really don't want to inherit the family business. So annoying. Neither my sister nor I want to take over the family business. Especially her, as she's at the top of her game in showbiz. Unfortunately, I've never risen to fame, so she resorts to strong-arming me back into the family business. I was about to tell her I'd already decided to quit the industry and join the family business when Laura, hearing my sister tell me to bring her home, got all starry-eyed like she wanted to marry me then and there. "We can talk about this later," I said, getting flustered from Laura's intense gaze and looking away. "Let's hold off on the announcement. I want to handle this personally." Tim, with his habit of stirring up trouble, focuses maliciously on my family, spreading rumors. I'm not gonna let it slide just like that. He loves spouting nonsense on live streams, doesn't he? Well, let's see him crash and burn in a live setting this time. Last time he faked fainting to avoid the heat. I'm not letting him off the hook this time. Alright, do what you gotta do. Just ring the company if you need anything. After hanging up, I was about to green-light a live interview my agent suggested, when I caught Laura holding the household registration book, blushing and asking, "Honey, when are you gonna make it official?" The live interview set up by my agent was just for Tim and me. Before it started, Tim looked at me, dropping any pretense of charm he usually shows on camera, and sneered, "You think cozying up to Laura makes you something more like her husband? Let me tell you, leaning on a woman is nothing compared to standing on your own. But too bad you don't have my family's background." Tim's tone oozed with entitlement about being the group's young master. I nodded along absent-mindedly, trying not to burst out laughing. I checked yesterday and found out Tim's distant cousin's sister-in-law's brother's neighbor was my dad's driver. Such a tenuous connection, yet he spun it into being a young master. What a delusion. Does he really think rich folks are idiots like they wouldn't clear things up? I held off on having the group issue a statement, and Tim mistook that for our family ignoring the entertainment scene, doubling down on his young master campaign. But that just means when he falls, he'll fall hard. As soon as the live kicked off, the comments went wild. Fans, who'd been embarrassed by Tim lying about being Laura's boyfriend, came back louder, thanks to his young master marketing. Why is it Felix again? How is he on the same show as our young master? Yeah, what level is Felix on to share a stage with our young master? Felix, the one who leans on a woman, dare compare to someone as born to rule like our Tim young master? How does Felix even have the nerve to sit next to our young master Tim? Tim, I'll always love you. You're my idol. Why doesn't Tim use his family's power to completely shut out Felix? Agreed. Tim's too kind. That's why he gets bullied like this. Tim's fans flooded the screen with young master, and I couldn't help but cringe for him. It's not some karaoke VIP room, geez. Even worse, Tim seemed to enjoy it, basking in the attention with a smug grin. No worries though, he won't be grinning soon. I glanced at my phone. My sis texted she was on site, ready to step in as the group president for the interview. It's well known Tim is the young master of the group. Has that identity ever caused you issues? Asked the host. Tim leaned toward the camera, feigning humility with a deep smile. Personally, I don't like folks knowing my family background. I worry people might treat me differently. Somehow word got out, so I ask everyone not to alter their view of me because of my identity. Then he gave the camera a playful tongue-out gesture. Oh my God. My Tim is so upright. I knew I wasn't standing the wrong guy. How's Felix not dying from shame sitting next to Tim hearing all this? Felix totally looks like he's struggling, thinking he'll be set for life by getting with a princess. But with families like Laura's, they're all about power couples. Felix is gonna get tossed aside once they get bored of him. I'm with you calling it now. Seriously, you guys are obsessed with these spoiled rich kids. Aren't you embarrassed? Keep your fantasies to yourself and stop dragging Felix into it. It's ridiculous. The comment section started fighting again. Seeing them argue, Tim shot me a smug look. I rubbed my eyebrow with my fingers and laughed. I mean, his fans are so over the top and buying all these fake accounts for promotion. Aren't they worried it'll backfire? Whatever, let him enjoy his victory lap for a few more minutes. During the interview, Tim kept hinting that as the heir to a conglomerate, his life was so lavish and happy. Then he shaded me, implying I rely on women, saying I'd get dumped eventually. His fans ate it up, and Tim went viral again. Boom! Tim, the low-key heir. Trending. Conglomerate heir has strong morals. Buzzing. Tim is rich and hardworking. I raised an eyebrow at the trending topics. Yup, time for the real show. As Tim kept bragging about his family's favoritism, the host smiled and said, "We've invited a special guest to surprise Tim." Tim paused, confused. My sister then walked in with a stern face. Turns out she was backstage fuming, listening to Tim's nonsense. Oh my God, it's top influencer Candy. Special guest? Surprise? Could Candy be Tim's real girlfriend? No way. My sister has bad taste? Wait, isn't my sister single? What's with you guys? Our young heir agrees to be with your sister, and you're the lucky ones. Being a conglomerate's daughter-in-law isn't for just anyone. Yeah, we don't even think Candy's that great. Lucky? That's a joke. Want this luck? I do. I do. I do. You guys are ridiculous. Use some brain cells, seriously. My sister's entrance kicked off another round of drama in the comments. Tim blushed and moved a bit, thinking my sister would sit beside him. Surprise. Surprise. She sat next to me and said, "Annoyed? You're just gonna let him talk without saying anything?" I felt a bit helpless. If only I could get a word in. Tim kept yapping about his heir life. Where could I fit in to speak? Tim tensed up, worried another Laura scenario was coming. But he quickly relaxed, figuring if there was another Laura, he could spin it to make me look bad. Wait, what? Candy and Felix know each other? Could they be dating? Damn, why does Felix keep snagging Tim's girls? Is he cursed or something? No way, you guys are insane. So every great woman automatically wants Tim. Huh? Anyone notice Candy and Felix share the same last name? Now that you mention it, Candy did mention having a brother. Could it be Felix? My sister decided to clear it up. She grabbed my head, turning my face to the camera and said, "Same dad, same mom, real siblings." The comments went wild. Tim looked a bit awkward. Come on, smile for the camera. My sister teased and flicked my forehead when I stayed quiet. How many times have I told you not to flick my head? Mom said too much of that will make me stupid. I grumbled, pushing her hand away. As a kid, I was gullible, always believing whatever my sister said. So she loved teasing me. All right, she chuckled, affectionately patting my head, while I rolled my eyes. Wow, you guys have such a close sibling relationship. I'm an only child and can't relate to having siblings. Tim chimed in, trying to stay relevant with the camera on us. When Tim spoke, my sister shifted from playful to chilly, cutting straight to the point, you're an only child. Tim hesitated, not expecting her question, but nodded. My parents say I'm enough. They didn't want another to divide the inheritance. Plus, my mom says daughters are a waste of money. Cool, then call your parents. We want to hear them say that. My sister deadpanned, interrupting Tim's wild claims. Tim froze, then recovered. They're on vacation in the Maldives, unavailable for calls. My sister twitched a smile, like she couldn't believe how outrageous he was. Fed up, she made a call to our conglomerate, asking them to officially clear things up. Hearing my sister on the phone, Tim's smile froze. A minute later, our company's official account posted. These are our future successors, the only ones. No third party. Please verify information carefully. Candy Felix. Chaos erupted in the live chat. What's happening? Candy and Felix are the company's successors? Then who is Tim? A joke? And a burden on Candy and her brother? Getting used for clout. Felix is the real heir. Wow, this world is wild. What's Tim's real story? Sometimes he's Laura's boyfriend, other times he's the heir. I'm so confused. This official account has got to be fake. My Tim is the real deal, no doubt about it. Even now, still insisting. It's true. Fans take after their idols. Delusional as hell. What do you mean daughters are a worthless investment? You're the one that's worthless, your whole damn family is. Tim's comments had my fists clenched. Isn't your mom a woman? Your grandma? Your nana? Without them, could you have even been born, you carbon-based being? After seeing the clarification from the group's official account, Tim turned pale. Just as he was about to pull his usual fainting act, a Maybach sped up, and two people stepped out. It was my parents. Mom, Dad, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in the Northwest right now? Hearing me call them Mom and Dad, Tim rolled his eyes and fainted. Seeing this, my dad rushed over and pinched Tim's philtrum. At first, Tim didn't react, but soon his mouth started twitching, and he gradually woke up. He probably didn't want to, but Dad was pinching so hard it brought tears to his eyes, no chance of faking it. We came back to see who's pretending to be our precious child. My mom calmly took out a wet wipe to clean my dad's hands. He accepted it and said, might need to pinch him again later. What? The movie star is Candy and Felix's dad. No way, with such resources, why isn't Felix famous? Damn. Felix is way too low-key. If my mom were the richest person and my dad a movie star, and my sister super famous, I'd walk with a swagger everywhere. Major face smack moment. This is so intense. Where did all those folks calling Tim the young master go? Probably went crying home to mama. Bunch of young fans. Seeing the comments streaming in, Tim almost passed out again. I heard you're the young master of the group. My dad asked him with a smile. Tim, pale as a sheet, couldn't utter a word. And you bullied my Felix, claiming he relies on women, unlike you who was born into such a great family. My mom asked coldly. Tim stammered, trying to explain, but my parents didn't give him the chance. My mom went on camera and declared me her heir. Upon hearing this, my sister went from disbelief to joy. You poor thing. I can finally pursue my dreams without worry. She cried as she hugged me. I was utterly helpless and had to publicly announce my withdrawal from the entertainment industry to take over the family business. Upon hearing I was taking over the family business, Tim fainted again. My dad calmly went to pinch his philtrum once more, but despite almost turning it purple, Tim didn't respond at all. Wiping his hands again, Dad said, this time he's really out, won't wake up from this. Tim's world was crumbling entirely. The higher he was before, the harder he fell. He wasn't just exposed for buying bots to slander me, but also for changing his name and marketing himself as an heir. He took on many endorsements under the guise of being a young master. Now everyone wants compensation for breach of contract. The amounts are massive. Tim's agency couldn't handle it, so they dropped him. The company sued Tim, and with no way to pay, he ended up on a credit blacklist, fully falling from grace. But I didn't pay attention to him anymore. I've been dead tired every day. The company is huge, and I'm so busy. There's barely time to catch my breath. Now I understand why my sister didn't want to take over. Honey, it's time for bed. Laura burst into my study at 11 p.m. like a boss, commanding my attention with a slap on the desk. Like a general returning from battle, she was clearly set on being with me tonight. Hold on, I said as I sped up my signing. Faster, or do I need to drag you to bed? Laura pulled out a small whip from who knows where and slapped it across my back. The whip didn't hurt much, just a tingly sensation. Quite the feeling. Grabbing the whip, I pulled Laura into my arms, half joking, "You really shouldn't play with dangerous things like this." Laura smirked. "You don't like it?" "I do, but you can't handle it," I said with a chuckle. She always starts things, but after 2 rounds, she's the first to back out. How can I not handle it? Felix, you underestimate me? Laura teased, tilting my chin with the whip. Eyebrows raised, I recognized the challenge. I swept the papers off my desk, pressed Laura onto it, and took the whip from her hands with a dangerous grin. "Let me show you how it's done." 5 minutes later, Laura pushed me away, dry heaving, disheveled. I was bewildered. Was I too rough? Not overthinking it, I quickly comforted her and firmly said, "I'm taking you to the hospital. Just to be safe, who knows if it was food poisoning." Unexpectedly, even through heaves, Laura appeared thoughtful, eventually raising her eyes to mine. Seeing disbelief in her eyes, my heart skipped a beat. I stuttered, "No way." 5 minutes later, holding a pregnancy test, I was in shock. Could she be pregnant just like that? Thinking back to the night we got our marriage certificate, we might have rushed things without protection. Didn't expect a one-time mistake could lead to this. Well done. Laura patted my back approvingly. Why does it feel like we swapped roles? The next morning, we rushed to the hospital for confirmation. When we got the report confirming the pregnancy, my hands trembled as I picked up the phone to call my sister. Early in the morning, my sister, probably still dreaming, was suddenly woken up. She grumbled, "Spit it out already." Hearing that, I tried to stay calm, but my voice was shaky. "Sis, you once said you'd raise my kid with Laura to be the successor. Is that still good?" Laura's pregnancy made me the happiest, because this kid could take over the group and we'd be free. We could be like my parents, not stressing about anything, just being lovey-dovey all day. Most importantly, my sister promised she'd raise the child. But my sis wasn't happy. I used her promise as an excuse to foist the kid on her. Oh, and Laura and I had twins, a boy and a girl. They inherited our best features and Laura's big mouth, asking thousands of questions every day. It wore my sister out. End of the main story. Extra. When the twins turned 5 and started kindergarten, my sister threw a big party. She celebrated finally being free from babysitting. At the party, she was all smiles. Laura and I gave her a present. Before sitting down, I noticed someone asking Tim in the chat if the scandal with Princess Laura was true. Right then, my sister held an ultrasound sheet, her face frozen. "Sis, gonna need your help again," Laura said shyly. Hearing that, my sister yelled to the sky, "Oh Lord, are you kidding me?" The next time I saw Tim was 7 years later. I was at the park with my oldest 2, along with my almost 1-year-old twins. Tim looked different, not the sharp guy he used to be. Now he looked sleazy with a fawning smile. He was with a rich lady, begging her to buy him a watch he liked. Our eyes met and he wasn't embarrassed at all. He even kissed the lady to show off. I looked away, feeling grossed out. Did he really think I'd be interested in a lady who's 4'11" and weighs at least 200 pounds? When I looked back, he had his arm around her, heading back into the mall. Meanwhile, Laura came over with 3 tumblers, hopping out of a Rolls Royce. She ran towards us happily. "Honey, kiddos, have some iced tea."